Welcome everyone to today's yoga lesson. Today we're going to be looking at our nervous system. We're looking at our nervous system, which sort of controls a lot of how we feel and things that we do. So let's come and check in with ourselves and with our nervous systems and just come to notice how we're feeling right now. Okay, so we can either close the eyes or keep them open with the gaze soft and lowered. Just come to notice how your body is feeling. So notice any sensations that you feel in your body. And come to notice how your mind is. Is your mind busy or calm? Or are you feeling excited, happy, sad? Maybe you're feeling not very much at all. Just noticing. There's no right or wrong. Notice the breath as it moves in and out of your body. And we're going to come and take 3 deeper breaths now, as long as it's comfortable to deepen your breath, with our chime. So breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. One last time, breathing in and breathing out. So, our nervous system is super important. It's a communication system around the whole of the body. For instance, if you've ever touched something hot by accident and then moved your hand away really quickly, that is your nervous system working. So your nervous system is taking information from the world around you through your eyes, your ears, your touch, and that information is translated into action by your nervous system. So the nervous system can be divided into 2 parts, or it is often divided into 2 parts and called your central nervous system, which is your spine and your brain. And then the other part is your peripheral nervous system. And peripheral means to be on the outside or the edge of. So peripheral nervous system are all the nerves and neurons that are all around the rest of the body. Okay, so we've got the central one that's just in the centre of us, and then the peripheral nervous system that's on the outside. But they aren't separate, so they work together as one system. Information from the peripheral nervous system goes to the central nervous system and is translated into movement. So it's working as one. It's just to learn about it, sometimes it's easier to divide it into 2 and to have these separate names. But let's come and do some movement for our central nervous system now by coming to move our spine. So we're going to find some lovely spinal circles. So we want to keep our spine nice and healthy and mobile, not just for our movement, but to keep our nervous system healthy too, so that we're really kind of getting all these messages and able to feel in our body. Okay, so remember these circles can be smaller than I'm doing if you want to do smaller ones, or they can be bigger. They can be bigger than I'm doing. They can come all the way down and forward. So just exploring what feels good, and then we're going to come, and change direction. So just noticing how it feels in the body to circle the spine, noticing all the different parts of the body as we move that you feel sensation in. So maybe around the lower back, and then when we come up, maybe around the front of the body, the sit bones, the shoulders, the neck. Right, and then let's come and do some other spinal movements. We're going to take our spine now to the side. So we're going to lift one arm up, open through the side of the body, let our spine come over to the side. And then let's go over to the other side. Let's see how it feels. It might be different on one side. Just coming to do that again on both sides. And then we're going to come and find our twisting motion for our spine. So we're going to come and breathe in. We're going to bring our arms up. And then we're going to twist to one side. But we're just going to come and bring our arms up again. And we're going to twist to the other side. So we're not hanging out in our twist. We're just coming to gently wake up the different movements in our spine. Some of the different movements in our spine. The spine can move in many ways. All right, and then let's come onto all fours. We'll come to do yoga pose. I'm sure you all know now, our cat-cow. And of course, this moves from the tailbone, from the very bottom of the spine, all the way up to the neck, to the top of the spine. And really, when you think our spine protects our spinal cord, which is basically, we've got our brain in our head, we've got our brain, and then under, from the bottom of the brain, there's a brain stem, and that turns into the spinal cord, which goes all the way down the back of the body and is protected by the vertebrae. So I always think of the spinal cord a little bit like the brain in the body, because it's just like an extension of our brain. There's no separation between the brain and the spinal cord. It's like a continuation of the brain. So let's come into our cow, where we're lifting our collarbones, lifting our tailbone. We've got the toes tucked. And then let's come into our cat, where the tops of the feet come down. We're pushing between the shoulder blades moving away from each other, and we're getting that arch in the back. And just thinking of the neck and the tailbone in each of these movements as well. Feeling the wave going all along the spine. So each vertebrae is getting a little bit of movement in this pose. And this is a great thing to do to keep your spine nice and healthy. Really easy to do as well. Just doing a couple of these every morning. Really good for your back. All right, and then let's come and give a little bit of stimulation to our skull, to our brain. So we're going to tuck our toes under, going to bring our hands back, and we're going to come to put the top of our head down on the mat. Okay, and we don't want to push too hard, so we're not going to be putting too much pressure on here. And what we're going to do, I'm going to put my head down, and then we're going to roll forwards and backwards, okay? And we're just going to massage a little bit on the top of the head and get a nice stretch through the neck. So bringing the head down and keeping your hands by the side, having your toes tucked, just lifting the hips gently, coming a little bit forward and back. We're doing this very slowly and mindfully. Okay, we're just coming to gently massage crown of the head, the back of the neck, spots that don't necessarily always get that much attention in our day. So it's not often that we come and put a bit of pressure on the top of our head. Okay, so that was our central nervous system. So for our peripheral nervous system, we were talking about our sensory organs. So I'm going to come a little bit closer for this. So we've got our eyes. So obviously our eyes take in a lot of information, and we are very visually dominated. We rely mostly on our eyes, I think, as a culture often. It's quite interesting if you ever do any blindfold work. Maybe when we're back in school we can do some blindfold games where you blindfold and then you have to rely a lot more on your senses of hearing and touch. But let's just come and we did this last week in our muscle video, let's come and do a couple of eye exercises to keep our eyes nice and healthy and strong. So remember, we're going to have the finger in front. We're going to move our finger, but we're not going to move our head. We're just going to move the eyes. Okay, so just moving your eyes, noticing how far they can go, noticing the sensation in the eyes. Eyes are muscles. And this is really great. We can take the finger up. How high up can you go? How low down can you see? When does your finger disappear? And then we're going to take a couple of circles. So call this eyes around the clock. So we're just getting our eye muscles to move in all directions. And then we're going to go the other way. And maybe you can really feel the eyes having to work to do this. Ooh, maybe your eyes feel a bit tired now, so we're going to come and bring a little bit of warmth into the palms of our hands. And when we created a bit of heat, we're going to place the palms of our hands over the eyes, like we're just bathing our eyes now in that nice warmth. Just cupping over the eyes. Nice. Okay. All right, and then so our ears as well. We get a lot of sensory information through our ears. So I'm going to come and just make I've got a few different bells. We're going to just listen to a few bells, noticing what you think of the sounds. And I'm sorry, hopefully the sounds won't be really horrible through the video. Hopefully they'll sound all right. I don't know. But maybe just closing your eyes and again just listening to the sound. So not noticing. Then you can come and see. I'll come and show you the bells afterwards, and you can see, if you think, which one made which sound. So just listening to this sound. Maybe again you can open your eyes when you can't hear it again. We've got this sound. Got this sound. So now maybe you had listened to them, maybe with your eyes closed or maybe open. I didn't actually show them on the screen. I'm going to show the different bells and you can maybe see which one you think made which sound. And then maybe there was that deeper one. It's this one. Much bigger. Okay. And then obviously we have a lot of sensory information through our mouths, and we can do some babies. When babies are little, they put a lot of things in their mouth. That's because they're learning about the world around them. They sense a lot through their mouth. That's why they want to put things in their mouths all the time. We obviously can taste things through our mouths. I can do some kind of make sort of smiling, covering your teeth. Or making funny faces. Maybe just doing a big smile. And then screwing your lips up. Exercising some of the muscles around our mouth. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit further back. So what happens in the peripheral nervous system is that sensory nerves, there are nerves that are called sensory nerves, and they collect information, like sensory nerves in our ears, heard that, or sensory nerves in my fingers. If I, sometimes some of you may have played that when I brought my feely bag in, where you put your hand in and there'll be lots of different things in there and you try and figure out what it is. And our fingers have an amazing amount of specialized nerve endings so that we can tell just from touching sometimes what something is. Now, if you were able to put a different part of your body into the feely bag, like your thigh or your arm, you wouldn't be able to feel in the same way as you can with your fingers, and you probably wouldn't be able to distinguish what was in the bag just from touching another part of your skin to it, because our fingers have these specialized sensory nerves. Okay, so this information goes into the sensory nerves, and then we have something else called motor nerves, and the motor nerves carry the messages to the muscles and tell them how to move. So our hands are sensory and motor. They sense things and then they move and do things as well. So let's come and activate our hands a little bit. So we're going to start by interlacing our fingers nice and tightly. And then we're going to turn the palms out and press through the palms of the hands and then extend the arms out and come and bring them up. So we're just stretching through the hands. Excuse me. Again, let's interlace the fingers. Stretch through the palms of the hands. Bring them all the way up and all the way out. So just getting our hands woken up. And then let's come and do a little bit of stimulation through our feet. So our feet are also highly sensitive and have loads of nerves and neurons in them, but because they're in shoes all the time, we don't get to stimulate them as much. So let's just come and give a little bit of massage to our feet, just waking up the soles of the foot and also the front of the foot. Okay, and the other one as well, and the toes. So of course in our hunter-gatherer days, we used our feet in a really different way. We didn't have shoes, and we walked over really, nowadays everything we walk on is flat, but of course things weren't flat then. We had to kind of navigate uneven terrain. So our feet are kind of designed to do that and have a lot of nerve endings in them, so that our body can recalibrate easily when we're walking over different types of surfaces. That's why we have all these nerves and neurons in our feet. So, giving your feet a bit of a squeeze. Always really nice to give our feet a little bit of attention. And then let's come, and we're going to come and give our central nervous system, our spine, one more little nice massage by doing our rollasana. So let's come and lift our knees up. Just make sure you haven't got anything behind you that you're going to hit your head on as you come to roll back. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Enjoying that nice massage on your spine. And then we're going to roll up to a squat. Okay, so onto our feet. Just noticing how the feet can go backwards and forwards, side to side. Coming up to standing. Okay, so we're going to come and do our sun salutation in a moment. So, as well as, and talk about something else. So, as well as our nervous system being divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, which is all about the location, we also have something called our voluntary nervous system and involuntary nervous system. So, our voluntary nervous system is also sometimes called our somatic nervous system. Somatic means body, really, and it's about the fact that it's how we move our body. Like we can decide to walk up some stairs or run down the road. Or for instance, if you're running in the park, jogging in the park, and you see a big hole suddenly in front of you in the path. So that data has come through your eyes, you've taken the sensory information in through your eyes, and then your voluntary nervous system will decide, can I jump over that hole? Do I have to stop and walk around it? Can I run around it? And you'll make a decision based on all the information that you've got through your nervous system what to do. Okay, and that's your voluntary nervous system. You can decide, do I stop? Do I jump? Do I go around the outside? Okay, so we're going to come and use our voluntary nervous system now to do our sun salutation. So this is another set of movements that hopefully we all kind of know quite well now, and we can just come and just come and notice how it feels in the body. So noticing the different sensations as we come into all these different positions. Okay, so let's come first into our mountain, having a sense of the soles of the feet on the ground. Bring our hands together. Breathing in, we're going to bring our arms up overhead, just stretching through the body. And then breathing out, we're going to bring our hands together and fold forward. And remember, we can bend the knees as much as we need to bring the hands on either side of the feet. The next time we're going to breathe in, we're going to step back with our right foot and come into our lunge. Just opening through the chest, letting the shoulder blades relax down the back. And then we're going to just step back into our plank, holding our breath, shoulders over the wrists. We're going to breathe out and lower our knees, lower our body down to the ground, and notice how it feels to have our body connecting down to the ground, the front of our body. From here, we're going to lift our hands, keep our feet connected down, and the next time we breathe in, we're going to lift into our baby cobra, and then putting the hands down, we're going to push back, breathing out through our child pose and into our downward dog. Okay, taking a moment here, we can bend and straighten the legs. Next time we breathe in, we're going to step forward with the right leg, and breathing out, the left leg comes to join. Breathing in, we're going to take our arms out wide to the side. Breathing out, hands in front of the heart. Just taking a moment to pause, to feel, to notice. And we'll come to do the other side. So breathing in, hands in front of the heart center. Breathing out. Breathing in, we're going to bring our arms up overhead. Breathing out, palms together, we're going to fold forwards. Breathing in, we're going to step back with the left foot, coming into that lunge. And then we're going to hold our breath as we come into our plank, nice and strong. Breathing out, lowering the knees, lowering the body. Breathing in, lifting the hands, lifting the chest. Breathing out, coming back into our downward dog, coming and just finding that, walking the dog, bending and straightening, gently moving through the body. Breathing in, we're going to step forward with the left foot. Breathing out, the right foot also comes to me. Breathing in, we're going to take the arms out wide. Breathing out, hands in front of the heart. So, taking a moment to pause. So when we come and practice yoga, we're using our voluntary nervous system. We sort of say, and sometimes I sort of say, sometimes it's quite important that we come and pause after we've done certain moves, because sometimes sometimes we do movements in yoga that we don't do usually in the rest of our day, in our life. Let's come and take a little standing side stretch. And so sometimes we need to give the body, when we come to pause, we give the nervous system, the body, time to process the movement that it's just done. Okay, and sometimes, like with the sun salutation, you might notice that the more you've done it, suddenly the easier it becomes, because the body understands, the nervous system understands what we're doing. The information has been, has gone through the nervous system before. That information of movement has come through the sensory nervous system before and gone back out through the motor, the movement. So we know it better. Okay, and that's our voluntary nervous system. We're kind of choosing, I need to put my leg back, I need to put my left foot forward, I need to lift up. Okay, so as well as our voluntary nervous system, obviously we also have our involuntary nervous system. And this is called your autonomic nervous system. And I always remember this because it sounds like automatic. And so you can think autonomic nervous system is the automatic one, the one that we don't have to think about. Okay, so this controls things like our digestion, our body temperature, our heart rate, and its job is to keep us healthy and in balance. So let's come and do a little balancing pose and see if we can be in balance. We're going to come and find our tree. So let's take our left foot, place it on our ankle, bring our hands together. If we're feeling balanced, we can maybe bring our foot to our calf, or maybe up to our thigh. We just don't want to bring it to our knee. And then from there, maybe if we're still feeling quite balanced, maybe you can always hold on to something. If you're at home, you can bring your knee up and then see if we can take the leg behind us, staying in balance as we come into our warrior three. Maybe bringing your arms out to the side, coming to your balance, and then coming back, and we'll come and do the other side. So this kind of, when the body is healthy and in balance like this, the word that we use to describe this is called homeostasis, and we're in balance. So, homeostasis. I'm telling you lots of really long words today. I'm afraid there's a couple more still to come. So let's let our foot rest on our ankle. Again, maybe we're lifting it to our calf. Maybe we're going to take it up to the thigh. Just noticing maybe we're a bit more wobbly on this side. It's fine as well. Okay, and then we're going to see maybe we can bring our knee up in front and then taking it back. Maybe there's a plant behind you that's going, your foot's in me. Okay, we can see, can we find our balance? Well done, everyone. Okay, let's come back and just give our legs a little shake out. So, the main job of the autonomic system is to keep us healthy and in balance. And the autonomic system can be divided into two sections, another two sections. It keeps dividing into two, doesn't it? But this is the last two sections, I promise. So the automatic nervous system is divided into two sections. One is called the sympathetic nervous system, and one is called the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay? And the sympathetic nervous system is also known as the fight, flight, freeze, and flop. Now, we don't control this at all. So this is about if we're in a really dangerous situation, this nervous system or this part of the nervous system will kind of kick in and take over and to try and keep us safe. Okay, so we've got fight. So maybe we're in a dangerous situation, we've got the choice to fight, we've got the choice to flight, which means run, flight, or freeze. So it might be safest just to freeze, stay really still, or sometimes flop. Flop, it's kind of just to pass out or to flop down, play dead. Okay, so let's do that again. Fight, flight, freeze. And you don't get to choose flop. Your body just decides which one is the most sensible one to do. Okay, so you might be in, let's say, if we were lion suddenly appeared in your room, okay, your body, you wouldn't have time to think, oh, I think it'd be best if I froze, or like your body would just decide, and it would just decide and take you to hopefully you'd run away, or if you couldn't run away, I'm not sure what would happen. Hopefully we wouldn't get eaten by the lion and we would escape, but we don't have control of our sympathetic nervous system. We don't decide, I'm going to stay and fight, or I'm going to run away. It just happens automatically, what we do, okay? And so let's just have a little recap of all those different subdivisions, because I know it's a bit confusing. We've got the central nervous system, our spine and brain, and the peripheral nervous system. And then we've got the voluntary nervous system, which is the one that we think about, and the involuntary nervous system, our autonomic nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system has the sympathetic nervous system, which is the one that's fight, flight, or freeze. And then the other part of that one, the second part, is the parasympathetic nervous system, which is also called rest and digest. Okay, so when we're safe, we can rest and digest. So when we do fight, flight, or freeze, if you were in a really dangerous situation, you had to fight, run, or freeze, your body will divert all the energy from things like digestion, immunity, even your brain. Your brain uses a lot of energy, and it will put all of that energy into your muscles so that you can run faster and for longer, or so that you have really, sometimes people end up having, you know, when they're in like really dangerous survival situations, they find strength that they didn't know they had. You know, they wouldn't have usually, but because the body goes into this sympathetic mode, they find extra strength, extra speed, things like this to help them survive. Okay, so our body is really amazing, these things that it can do. But this was really useful many years ago when we were hunter-gatherers, and there were kind of saber-toothed tigers. Let's come and be a tiger. Let's come down onto our hands and knees. Let's see if we can move stealthily like a hunting tiger. So we put our hands down, our knees, our feet down, and we're going to lift our knees just like a couple of inches and see if we can come forward like a cat. So we're going to take our left foot and our right hand, and then right foot, left hand, and see if we can walk forward and backwards. Okay, so there's a lot of strength in the body. One more time, forwards. So yeah, we did often have to have these survival instincts. And then let's come and pounce. And nowadays, even though there are still dangerous situations, obviously, we're not as in much danger because we live in houses. There's not as many wild animals. We don't have to go and hunt dangerous animals and things like that. But our sympathetic nervous system, this fight, flight, freeze, we still quite often, our body goes into it thinking that we're in danger, when it might just be something like we're stuck in traffic and we're going to be late and we get really stressed out. So when we get really stressed out, our body goes into sympathetic nervous system because it doesn't really realise that it's not life-threatening. And so for many of us, we might feel stressed about things, and then we're in our sympathetic nervous system. And it might not be that we're, again, one thing to clarify is that it's not like you switch your sympathetic nervous system on and then you're fully, it's not, as we said, it's automatic. So you might, it's more like a dial. You can kind of sometimes be a little bit in your sympathetic nervous system, and then if you get more stressed, you'll go more and more, depending on how, stressful the situation is or dangerous. Okay, and so it's not like it turns on and off. You can dial up and into it. So some of us are sometimes just in our sympathetic nervous system just a little bit, a lot of the time. Okay, and that's not great because obviously then a lot of the energy that should be doing things like working our brain or digesting our food or keeping us healthy with our immune system, a lot of that energy is in different chemicals that's creating tension in our body, okay, when we don't really need it, because we're not really actually needing to escape anything life-threatening. We just need to deal with some stressful situations. And this is where a practice like yoga can be really useful, because our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest nervous system, one of the ways that we can start to dial into the parasympathetic nervous system more is through our breathing and through sort of different practices. So through just allowing your body to feel safe, right? And sometimes one of the main things is being able to have a longer exhale than your inhale. So when we breathe in, we can just breathe out nice and slowly. That is a signal that starts to signal to your body, I'm relaxed and I'm safe, okay, and I can relax, and I don't have to be on high alert. So you can think of your sympathetic nervous system a little bit like your watchdog. Anything dangerous is going to come, your sympathetic nervous system is like your watchdog. It's going to kind of like bark and warn you, or not really warn you because it's automatic, but it's going to look after you like a watchdog, okay? And so we can just, when we come into the parasympathetic, we're starting to feel safe. So the guard dog, the watchdog, can have a rest, okay? Now I've just grabbed a pillow and a blanket, and I should have told you at the beginning of the video that you need a pillow and a blanket, but I forgot. So maybe you could just pause the video and get a pillow. I've got a pillow from my bed and a blanket or a bath towel. We're going to come and make a nice something to rest in. So just go and grab that. Okay, and then we're going to come and make something called a bolster. So a bolster is basically just like a big round pillow. So you might even have a bolster, so you might not need to make your own one. But if you don't have a bolster, you can make one using a blanket or a big bath towel, getting your pillow, putting it on the blanket, and then we're going to roll it up. And we want to kind of, with the pillow, you want to kind of, if your pillows are quite thin, you might need two of them. You can kind of roll them up, roll them in half a little bit, and then wrap the blanket around it. So you're basically making like a big sausage. Okay. Now we're going to use this for supported child's pose. Now some of you might remember child's pose. We'll just come and practice it without the pillow first. So we have our knees together, and we just come and let the body come over the knees and the hands by the side. Okay. And this is a pose that's really great to do if you're ever feeling a little bit anxious or stressed or worried. It can be a really nice pose to rest in. But to make it even nicer, you can make a bolster or get a load of pillows and blankets. And basically, you take your knees apart and you place the bolster in between your legs, and then you just come and fold over and let yourself be supported in this child pose. And it feels so nice to have something nice and soft on the front of your body, supporting your head. And you can just come to rest here. Okay, so we just come to find a little space to rest, to breathe, and to slow down. And so in yoga, when we come and do yoga poses that are just quite slow, mindful movement, again, it's a signal to the body that you're in a safe place, that you can come to rest, you can come to digest. So just coming to take some quiet moments. I could stay there for longer. Maybe we'll come and do that again at the end. I think we'll have the option to do that at the end. But we're just going to come and do a few more little poses. And actually, before we do poses, let's just come and do a short couple of alternate nostril breaths. So just want to make sure that you haven't got a blocked up nose and that you feel quite clear in the nostrils. But this is a really good, again, a really good breath for calming down. So what we do is we breathe in, and then I'm gonna mirror you. So so you can do the same. You can do the fingers on the same side as I'm doing. Okay, so we breathe in, and then we close the right nostril and breathe out through the left. And we breathe in through the left. Then we close the left nostril and we breathe out through the right. We breathe in through the right. We close the right and we breathe out through the left. Breathing in through the left. Closing the left, breathing out through the right. Breathing in through the right. Closing the right, breathing out through the left. Breathing in through the left. Closing the left, breathing out through the right. Breathing in through the right. Closing the right, breathing out through the left. Just letting your hand come down. Breathing in through both. Just noticing how you feel. So we did that for a really short time, but it can be a really nice, calming breath. And when you kind of have maybe practiced it a few times and know how to do it without having to watch me, you can just do it with your eyes closed. Always end by breathing out through the left. Okay. All right, so let's come and do a few more resting, cooling down poses now. So coming and diving into our parasympathetic nervous system. So we're going to lie down on our back. We're going to bring our knees in and we're just going to come and circle a little bit. So we kind of come and give a bit of a massage, nice and slow, to our lower belly. Breathing and just circling in the other way. Maybe going to come and just let our legs come up for a moment. They don't have to be straight, but just having our legs up like this. And we've maybe I think I have on some videos done legs up against the wall. This is also really kind of restorative, relaxing pose. You can just do it like this for a few moments if you can't get next to a wall. And then bringing both feet down onto the mat. We're going to take our arms out into a T, and if you haven't got space for a T, you can just bend the elbows and be in your cactus arms. And we're just going to let both knees come down to the right, and the head goes over to the other side, and we're in this lying down twist. This is a really lovely, restful pose. Bringing the knees back to the centre and just going to the other side. Coming and bring the knees up, and you can extend the legs out. We're going to come into our rest, or as I said, you've got the option either to be resting like this in Shavasana, come into the constructive rest pose where you've got your knees bent, or if you've made your bolster and you really want to come into, you would like to come into your supported child's pose, then please come into your supported child's pose. Whatever you choose, just make sure that you're feeling comfy and cozy. Coming to close the eyes and just taking a few moments of stillness, and just come to sit. So just allowing the body to come and find a little bit of quiet peace. So we can tend to our nervous system in many ways. Movement, sometimes it is about becoming quiet, sometimes going and running or moving can make us feel kind of calmer, better. Sometimes just being outdoors in nature by a tree, or just playing outdoors. The important thing is that sometimes if we can notice, maybe if we're feeling a little bit frustrated or a little bit stressed out, we can notice that. And either we allow it just to be, or we can come and try something like our supported child's pose or some alternate nostril breathing. It can be really interesting to just have that experiment and see if we can sometimes switch our, if we've been feeling really grumpy or fed up, if we can, through some simple movement or breath practice, can we kind of feel better? So you can come and experiment yourself with that. Alright, so however you're resting, we're going to bring a little bit of movement. If you're on your back, stretching out. If you're in your child's pose, maybe coming up. Or if you want to stay resting for longer, of course you can always stay resting for longer. This is a video, you can rest for as long as you like. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed that class, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Let's bring our hands together. If you're ending now, we'll come and bow to each other. Namaste. Take care, everyone. Bye.